Users are personnel that has access to the platform and can log into RAYVN. They can participate directly in a log within the platform. To add a user, you need to have access to the account settings. Go to the section Users and click Create User. Then fill in the sections of information in the form that shows up. First of all, we need to fill in a name and contact information for every user. Every user must have an email address to be able to log into RAYVN. When you've added a name, email address, and a phone number, you need to assign an access level to your user. You can choose between the following access levels: Account Admin, Group Admin, Log Manager, and Operator. The difference between these levels of access is based on the need to access different functionalities and settings in RAYVN. Let's take a closer look at the difference between the access levels. If your user has the access level Account Admin, they can access everything in the account. They can access all settings, see all ongoing logs in the account, and start and close logs. They can also add and remove users, edit and maintain templates, and things in the account settings. They can also access the archive. Lastly, they'll also be able to manage personnel in the Privacy Center and can create changes in the general settings that are valid for the entire account. As a group admin, you'll have access to all the account settings that are valid for the group that they are based in, and they will also access all subgroups of that group. They can also start and close logs, and thus also have access to the archives. A log manager has access to start new logs, but they cannot access any of the settings, the archive, or the Privacy Center. Operators has the lowest access level in RAYVN. They can only participate in logs that they have been invited to, and they cannot start new logs or access any of the settings, the archives, or the Privacy Center. When you've filled in all the necessary information for your user, remember to click Save. As soon as you click Save, an invitation will be sent to the user asking them to confirm their email address and set a password for their account. This step has to be completed before the user can log into RAYVN. An important thing to note is that the invitation link that is sent out to the user is only valid for 48 hours. If the user does not complete the registration for their user within that time frame, the invitation must be sent out again. If you need to do so, you can do so by clicking on the user and selecting Resend Invitation. A responder is a user type that doesn't have access to log into RAYVN and can't operate inside the platform. However, they can receive and respond to information that has been sent from RAYVN. Responders can also be added to teams and therefore be notified at the same time as users when a new log is started. An example of someone who could be added as a responder is an employee that is part of an agency that is not part of the main critical event management, but is still an employee that you want to get information to quickly, and also receive information from if needed. Creating responders is done similarly to creating users. Click Create Responder and fill in the form with the contact information that is necessary. After you click Save, no further action is required. Contact is a user type that doesn't have access to log into RAYVN. They can receive information sent out from RAYVN, but they cannot respond to it. Examples of contacts could be personnel that we want to keep informed, but that we don't need information from. One-way communication would be sufficient. This could, for example, be contacts from neighboring companies, personnel in a specific agency, members of a board, or the remaining employees that are not part of the crisis event management. To add a new contact, click Create New Contact and fill in the form. Here you can choose to add just an email address or a phone number if that's all you have, but you'll need to add at least either a phone number or an email address to create the contact. If you already have predefined contact lists, you can also choose to add the contact directly from here. Teams are used to organize personnel and to be able to activate and notify personnel during a log. Teams can consist of users and responders, but not contacts. Examples of teams could be emergency response teams, management, or communications team. A team can consist of one or more users, and you can also create empty teams if necessary. Any user can be added to one or more teams. It's natural to often create teams based on tasks and areas of responsibilities in the workplace. To create a new team, click Create New Team and fill in the form. Give the team a name first, And then, if you have the next of kin module, you can also select the function of the team. Then you can add your members and click Save. It's also possible at any time to make changes to the settings of each team. Select your team and make the changes necessary. It's possible to adjust the notification channels for each team member. For example, we can turn off voice notifications for one member or only allow email notifications for another. If necessary, we can also modify the notification text that is included to this team. If your account has access to rooms, you can also give your team access to one or more rooms. Remember to click Save after you've adjusted the settings for your team. It's possible to create contact lists in RAYVN to organize users, responders, and contacts. These lists can, for example, be used if you need to send out information from an active log in RAYVN. A typical example of a contact list can be every member of a department in your organization. To create a new contact list, click Create New Contact List and fill in the form. Give your list a name and description and start adding personnel to the list by selecting them from the sections for contacts and responders and users. Then click Save. All user types can be included in multiple contact lists if necessary. If needed, you can also export a contact list from RAYVN to an Excel file. If you're mass importing contacts using a file, you can create a contact list in advance, and when your upload is complete, you can add them directly to your contact list.